Come in.
Hello, Dean Blackman. My name's Ricardo Sosa from the English department. I think maybe I'm a bit early because I was just teaching a class next door. I can leave and come back if you'd like me to.
No, it's fine. Just have a seat.
I hope I'm not disturbing you.
No, you're not.
Because I can wait outside if you're busy.
I said it's okay.
Okay.
Why on earth would you recommend a job candidate who's a 49-year-old straight white male? One who writes in his personal statement, I have walked on the beach at Acapulco, fallen in and out of love, waved at the Queen of England, sucked the juice from the golden apples of the Hesperides, and walked to the end of the rainbow several times. Is that what you consider a qualification for a tenure-track faculty position in the English department?
Well, we were thinking the tenure track was not appropriate. If you agree, of course, we were thinking a full tenure position. As you can see, he's published over 57 articles in the best journals. He's won several prestigious awards. He's published 6 novels that were far too good to be bestsellers, and he's on the, he's on the editorial board of a half-dozen different journals.
But we are not looking for an artsy novelist with stellar academic credentials. We are looking for diversity. We need role models for our students of color, our female students, our students with disabilities and alternative lifestyles, or students who are functionally illiterate.
Hello, Julia. I'm afraid the other members of the search committee couldn't be here today because they're all out of town at a conference. I see you and Ricardo have already met.
Have a seat.
As committee chair and department chair, it is my duty to inform you we've carefully considered a list of 245 applicants and come up with a short list. We'd like to get your approval to interview the top candidate right away. See what happens. I've already sent over his CV.
I was just discussing it with Dr. Sousa.
Ricardo.
With Ricardo. This person really won't do. I don't see how I can justify making a job offer to him.
Why not? He has stellar credentials, teaching awards, grant support, and outstanding letters of recommendation.
Because he is a white male writer with impeccable academic credentials. Oh, I've done some checking. He's got a wife and 2 kids. He's a Democrat. He wears tweed jackets with leather patches on the elbows. For heaven's sakes, he's a clone of you, Dan.
Are you saying we need diversity?
Yes, we need diversity.
Okay, so we need diversity. But he writes with an original voice. His novels are so poetic and expressive, no one could possibly make a Hollywood movie out of them. They're like nothing else you've ever read before. You actually have to sit down and read them to understand them. They'll blow your ideas about society right out of the water, like shooting stars in a barrel.
Dan!
Okay, I know that's a lame analogy, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. Diversity in writing is one thing, but it's passé. We need diversity in lifestyles. Think about the obese and anorexic student, the goth student, the skateboarder, cheerleaders, the young Republicans, and especially the ones who never learned to read. How are they going to relate to poetic heightened language?
Isn't that what they're in college to learn to do?
No. They're in college to pay tuition, and as the tuition goes up, they need more consideration.
So what do you suggest we do? Go back to the drawing board and find a candidate who's a transsexual, anorexic, illiterate Samoan skateboarder?
No. I have just the solution for you. The biomedical engineering department recently decided to make an offer to Maria Rodriguez, who is a young molecular biologist with a lot of promise. She has a partner, Susan Franklin, who we're going to have to take on board as a partner accommodation hire if we want to recruit Dr. Rodriguez. You should have her file since she applied to your department.
Franklin? I don't remember a Susan Franklin.
I was afraid something like this would happen. J. Susan Franklin, is that it?
Yes, it is.
I don't recall her. We may have cut her in the first round.
That's because she's currently working as a part-time instructor at an online diploma mill. Doesn't have any credible letters of recommendation, just a couple vague letters from students. It looks like she hasn't even finished graduate school.
Yes, I remember her. She's the one with no publications except an online lesbian porno site.
Now, as you say, an online lesbian porno site, it is a bona fide blog about alternative lifestyle. A blog can be every bit as intellectually stimulating as a novel. The novel's as dead as live theater, and you know it.
I'll admit, the promise of a lesbian porno site was titillating to me at first, so I had to look at it. Not on the university's computers, of course. On my son's iPhone.
Well, how was it?
Well, it wasn't even sexy, really. There were no interesting pictures. Every post was just random verbal masturbation with no theme, no goal in mind, no climax. It was like the monkey at the zoo who, like, incessantly plays with himself. So all the little kids giggle and the parents get embarrassed.
You just don't understand postmodern and literary techniques of meta-analysis and deconstruction of our fixed ideas about sex should be perceived. The woman is brilliant, and we are going to hire her.
We, you, and who else?
You, the English department, and the College of Arts and Sciences, that's who. You do want those discretionary funds for the coming academic year, don't you? And funds for the writing program, which, by the way, is passé.
We'll go online and take a look at her blog. I'm certain it's something that students could relate to.
Yeah, the same way they can relate to drinking themselves into oblivion and falling out of fraternity windows.
Oh, come on, it won't hurt you to open your mind and let a little new blood in the department.
A little blood in the department is what this might end up being, Julia. You can threaten to blackmail us and take away our funding, but there's not a hell of a lot to take away. You can't get blood out of a mushroom, Julia, especially one that's already been bled to death. This is the most preposterous thing I've ever had to deal with in all my years as chair of the English department.
We'll take another look at her application, Dean Blackman. I'm sure she'll fit in just fine.
Over my dead body.
Thank you both for coming to this meeting. I'm sorry, but I have to hurry off to a planning committee for the full-service restaurant and bowling alley in the Students' Union. I expect the positive vote in my office on Monday morning.
You don't even want to interview this person. That's not how we do it here.
One last thing. You were thinking about hiring at the full professor level with tenure? You will hire Susan Franklin as a tenured full professor.
Oh, that was easier than I thought. Talk about a win-win situation. When molecular biology hired Maria, she and John were so worried about what he was going to do. Thank God his middle name is Susan. Shit, he's going to get tenure on this too.
We're out like banditos. Molecular biology, cute little cousin. The English department gets a middle-aged, straight, white male Marlowe scholar who has like a zillion esoteric publications. What a pair!
What a score!
Who says live theater is dead?
You know, I'm going to miss working with you and John to come up with ideas for that blog. I was starting to enjoy
Who
myself.
says we have to stop? We already got over 2,000 followers, including the dean. That's more people than have read all my articles put together. No one even said they were good, let alone brilliant. Come on, what are we going to do now?
Let's go be lesbians.
Yeah.